Patty Abel, and today we're going to talk about breath again, along with core contraction or activation. I like activation more. So I am using a little tool that helps sometimes in the studio for visual effect, but we use a lot of springs in the studio, but I like to use this spring in our breath awareness and our core awareness as the spine. So you're going to imagine this the same as your spine. So these coils are like your vertebra. And on our inhale, I want you to imagine, in between our vertebra, we have those little disc spaces. Think of them like little air pockets. So on our breath, we're going to inflate those air pockets with our breath so that our vertebra expands, just like the spring. And then we exhale. So typically, what do? We breathe in, we'll find that expansion, that length, and then on our exhale, we'll collapse. So that's where our core muscles come in. So today, what we're going to think about is first, we're going to start with some expansive breathing to think about those vertebra, the disc space, expanding on our inhale. So take a good deep breath in. Feel the vertebra float off of each other. So they're not compressed on each other anymore. They're floating. And then on your exhale, I want you to keep them floating. Don't let them collapse. Start feeling what muscles have to kick in for that to happen. And then take another deep breath in. Think of that length and that expansion again. And then on our exhale, keep that length. Keep that height in the vertebra. Don't let it collapse. So when we do that, we start to feel all of those amazing little structure muscles in our spine. All those little guide wire muscles we talked about earlier. On our in-breath, they're lengthening up. They're opening up that space in between the vertebra. And then on our exhale, we're engaging those, activating those to keep us nice and upright. And when we engage and activate those, we now feel it come also around into our transverse abdominal. We feel a little tone in our pelvic floor. And that whole core cylinder starts to engage and activate. And you don't even have to think about it because our bodies are very smart. And if we give them the right tools, they'll do what they're supposed to do. So, that's your new practice. You've already practiced your other breathing. You might have done some release techniques by now to release some of the tension in the back. So for today, just think of that expansive breath. So taking that breath in and finding that space in your springs of your spine. And then on your exhale, allowing those guide wires in the back to engage and activate and keep you nice and upright and standing. I like to do this also when I'm driving because I can scoot back into my chair in my seat and I can get my back into the seat so that I can breathe in. We talked earlier in another video about how to find that expansive breath, so I can feel my lungs and ribs expand into the back seat. And I can feel my spine now lengthen up the seat. And then on my exhale, I'm just going to keep that into the seat and try not to collapse and fall into myself. I'm going to keep that expansion. So thus, strengthening my core up at the same time that I'm working on that breath. What better time to practice it than when you're driving to alleviate any tendency of a little road rage for those other drivers that are out on the road. So, sitting there and practicing that breath as you're driving and that core engagement. If something happens, you have to stomp on the brake, you're protected now because your core is engaged. So that's a place that I like to practice it. Check it out, see what you think. Let us know if you have any questions, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.